Okay, so you have to make sure that it's in standard form before you factor out. So we're going to start by subtracting 4, and we get x squared plus 10x plus 9 equals 0. It's got to equal 0. If a is 1, it's super easy to factor. All you do is do your parentheses with x, and then you just say, okay, well, what factors of 9? Since it's positive, you add the factors. What factors of 9 add to give you 10? It's 9 and 1. And they're both positive since 10 is positive. And then you just set each factor equal to 0 and solve for x. So you get a negative 9 and a negative 1. For this one, we have multiple terms on both sides. I always start with the side that's got less, and I usually try to keep x squared positive. So I'm going to subtract 7x on both sides, and I'm going to add 3 on both sides. So x squared stays the same. You get negative 12x here and positive 36. And again, simple factoring. So what factors of 36 add to give you 12? It's going to be 6 and 6. And since 12 is negative, these are both negative. So x is 6 and 6. 6 doubled. For this next one, we've got a 2x squared, so we're going to subtract that. We're going to add x. So those go away. 8 minus 2 gives you 6x squared. 19 plus 1 gives you a 18x. And since we just have two terms, and we know that 6 goes into both and x is in both terms, we're going to factor out a 6x. So all you're left with here is just an x. And all you're left with here, 6 goes into negative 18 negative 3 times, and then the x goes away. Set each term equal to 0 and solve for x. Divide by 6, you're going to get x equals 0. And then add 3 to both sides, you get x equals 3. So it's x equals 0 and 3. For this last one that I'm going to do, we're going to subtract 5x squared on both sides, giving you 25x squared. And we're going to add 1 to both sides, giving a minus 9. This one we haven't really talked about, so it's good that we're talking about it here. It's not really, we don't have factors in both, no x's in both. Nothing like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to solve for x. So we're going to add 9 to both sides. And you're given 25x squared equals 9. Okay, we're getting x squared by itself, so now it's time to divide by 25. So x squared equals, we can reduce this down to, we can't reduce it, so we leave it as it is. Square root both sides. So x equals plus or minus. Remember, when you take the square root, it's a positive and a minus. So the square root of 9 is 3. You can break it up. So you get it plus or minus 3. Square root of 25 is 5. So our solutions are x equals positive 3/5 and a negative 3/5. We haven't technically gone over this. You'll see this more in Unit 5